special to us. We also know that a number of you have traveled long and far to come to this event, and we much appreciate that. Special shout out to Megan Frank, Kate's cousin, who is joining us from Australia. And what do you think of these surroundings, huh?
Oh, gorgeous.
I think they're perfect for a wedding. Speaking of that, we are very pleased to thank Andy's grandmother, Marion, for making these facilities available to us. It's noteworthy that this is the same location where Betsy and Larry were married.
Good job.
As well as Andy's Uncle Reed and Aunt Ellie, who are over there.
Who are those
I
Michaels
think that
people?
following in their footsteps is a great way for Kate and Andy to start their marriage.
All right.
When Kate was a freshman at St. Thomas, the tennis team went to Hilton Head for their preseason matches. And I think there's somebody from St. Thomas here. I'm not quite sure. Anyway, the team finished up their matches a few days before the end of spring break was over. And so we arranged to pick up Kate while the team was switching planes in O'Hare on their way to the ultimate destination of the Twin Cities. Kate said to us, "Do you mind if we also give a ride home to a member of the boys' team, the men's team?" Sorry, guys. And we said, "Sure." And that's when we met Andy Michaels. We started out on the trip and had a nice discussion with Andy for about 5 minutes, at which point he fell asleep in the back seat. Kate told us that the team had wisely decided that in order not to miss the morning flight, that they probably should keep going with their celebration until such time as the plane was to leave. Fortunately, Andy woke up in time to provide directions to his home. As we pulled into the driveway, Larry came out and greeted us, thanked us, and was, the general nice guy Larry always is. Little did we know what an impact he and his wife Betsy would ultimately have on our lives. After we left, Kate immediately crashed in the back seat. And Sarah and I got to talking and agreed that Andy was a pretty nice guy. And then Sarah said, "I think that Andy really likes Kate." At that point, I was totally clueless. And about the only thing I could say to keep the conversation going is, "And he didn't snore." Anyway, as the pastor said, Andy and Kate didn't start dating for another couple of years. And since that time, we've had a lot of opportunity to get to know and love Andy. And we very much are excited to have him join us in our family. This is really special for us, and it's nice, as you pointed out last night, that Rob gets an older brother. He sure as heck needed one. And also, we got to appreciate your sleeping habits. Anyway, if you will all rise, I would like to propose a toast. I wish you fun and excitement tonight, hopes and dreams tomorrow, love and happiness forever. Ladies and gentlemen, Andy and Kate, the groom and bride.
No walk-up music? Something like that. No, you know what? What else you got? I just want to say thanks to Bob and Sarah for letting us say something this evening. In my world, the Saturday night event or the wedding night is the parents of the bride get to speak. And so thank you for letting us offer a few thank yous as well. We were really excited when you guys decided to do the wedding here at Blackhawk, and as Bob mentioned, Betsy and I did get married here. It was September 5th, 1982. Some of you were actually at that wedding. Actually, quite a few of you were at that wedding. And thank you for still talking to us. I very, very much appreciate that. But we weren't the only ones, and he mentioned the halls, but that's not the only ones either. In July 1998, where are the Vexters? Betsy's cousin Martha and her husband Peter were married here. I think you actually had the ceremony and the, is that correct? And the reception here?
Yeah.
Now Andy was at that event in 1998. Unfortunately, his pants were in Delafield. So Andy had to wear some shorts to the wedding. And we got wedding pictures of Andy in shorts. It's really classic. So 1998, the Denver Broncos won the Super Bowl 31-24. Beat the Packers, actually. A 30-second commercial cost of $1.3 million. And the number one song that year was Too Close by Next. Never heard of it, right? Do you have that one, Sava? Do you have that one? Do you? We can play it later. Okay, good. Now, there's one other wedding, as Bob mentioned, that was here August 21st, 1971. Betsy's sister Ellie and Reed Hall were married here. Just about to celebrate their 44th wedding anniversary. That was so long ago, that was actually an arranged marriage.
Oh, that's cool.
Nana still owes the Halls 2 goats and a chicken. Number one song that year, Joy to the World by Three Dog Night. Baltimore Colts beat the Dallas Cowboys 16-13. A 30-second commercial cost $72,000. Today, it costs $4.5 million for a 30-second commercial. So, just to put that into perspective.
How much was dinner?
So I got just 2 more dates to go over. Today is August 8th, correct? August 8th. So 40 years ago today, August 8th, 1975, Sandy and Scott Jensen were married. Not here, but in Michigan. So today is their 40th wedding anniversary. Let's see a little kiss there, Scott. See what you got. Welcome to your surprise happy anniversary party. Now, just close your eyes for a second. Can you see the powder blue tuxedo? And the white shoes? We actually had a Halloween party about 20 years ago at Brian's house, and Scott showed up wearing his wedding tux, and it really was powder blue. Did I mention the #1 song that year?
No.
Scott was listening to it on his 8-track player in his car, and it was the Captain and Tennille. Love will keep us together. So happy anniversary, Scott. The last date I'm going to bring up. By the way, I do remember that incident where you dropped off Andy. They were pretty wrecked. I didn't think that was ever going anywhere. Anyway, about 2 years later, I'm sitting in my office, in my upstairs office at home, and Andy comes into the room, and we're talking. And it's August 20th, in 2009, and Andy tells me on that day, I'm going to marry Katie Brantford. She doesn't know it yet, but I'm going to marry her. So I go, man, I think he was serious. So I take out my phone, I open up the contacts, I got Katie Brantford in there, and I write in the notes section, August 20th, 2009. I said, well, I'm going to need that date someday. So here I am, how many years later? 6 years later, wishing you a happy wedding. Okay, I lied. There are a couple more dates. So I helped work on this slideshow that was playing in the bar, and some of the photos are dated. And there's one in there that's dated August 30th, 2009. So that's 10 days after Andy tells me that he's going to marry her. It's a picture with 6 people in it. It's Andy, Katie, and 3 other bodyguards for Katie. So she's not interested yet. Clearly, there's nothing going on. There's another picture there from October 17th, 2009, and it's Katie and Andy and 1 other woman. So he's breaking down the resistance a little bit. She only feels like she needs 1 bodyguard at that point. So he's really doing well. September 17th, 2010, there's a picture of the 2 of them there, and it's pretty obvious that they're a couple at that point. They're all over each other. So that's really all I'm going to say before I get into trouble here. Other than, I just want to say, I just hope that you guys get what we got. Watching you guys grow up, and watching you from this point on is going to be tremendous. So we're really excited about it. Thanks very much. Good evening to you all. And thanks all of you for coming, please. Thank you.
Thank you so much for Katie and Andy individually and now them as a couple. We thank you that you had them chosen for each other long before they ever met, and that your story for their lives is a continuous adventure. We pray that you would guide their lives together, that you would continue to grow their love for each other and for you. And we pray that you, Father, would be the rock and foundation of this marriage. Bless this food and our celebration of Katie and Andy. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
We're here. Today we have been waiting for since, 2009 it sounds like? But I think it was more 2007. Because I knew Andy then as well, and he could not take his eyes off Katie when they were around. So, although it was 2009 when they started dating, the love was definitely there before, maybe on Andy's side. Unfortunately. Anyways, tonight's a big night. Katie and I have a joke when something big is happening, whether it's, new job, traveling, it's big night, big day, big day. And today's the biggest. Sorry, I have to read from my phone live editing. So. I would just read Katie and I's text messages, but it's all emojis. So it's hard to translate. Katie and I have been best friends for 8 years, and we have never lived more than 2 doors apart until this past June since then. So where do we do this? Since trying to describe Katie, it's like she's been a roommate, a travel companion, a friend, but ultimately she's been a sister. This is the hardest part. Neither of us have sisters, and I call Rob and Sarah my second parents. My parents completely have welcomed Katie in, and Robbie as much as you hate it. You're all our little brother. And we pick on him like him. So I consider myself a Bramflick tonight. And for many years, a sister. Yes. You did have a daughter. You have another daughter in case you're sorry to fill you in late, Bob. So Katie's incredible. She's super selfless. And just a little story to exemplify this is our freshman year. You likely do not remember this at all, but I was in a bind. I had to turn my homework in across campus and was on my way to work at the same time. I'm sure we were hanging out in your dorm watching Friends, so, you know, really keeping academics a top priority to Mom and Dad. But anyways, without a doubt, Katie said, "Oh, I'll turn it in, no problem." Of course, it was, you know, downpouring and all the good stuff, and she dropped it off, no problem, and that's really when I understood what a good friend was. And Katie's been saving my butt ever since. Yeah, no, that's okay. She's just one of the most laid-back, honest, easygoing, just so fun. I mean, every memory I have from the last 8 years has pretty much Katie in it. We've had the best times together, whether it's traveling. We spent 10 days, 2 of us, in Europe, and we did not kill each other. I think we fought once, but that was in Munich, Germany, but they just need better maps because and it was not our fault. Honestly, it wasn't. My parents went there last fall, and they were like, "You're right, the maps are really bad." I told you. Anyways, so we've had, you know, we had the Dayton house, as many of the Tommies know, and have spent many hours or mornings there. And anyways, one of the nights I remember very fondly because this was the night that it was confirmed Andy liked Katie. Right out of a sitcom, Andy told our other roommate Sean that he, you know, liked Katie. It was, like I said, completely obvious to the rest of us, but it was confirmed. So I thought immediately spun around, talked to Sean, went over to Katie and said, "Oh my gosh, I have something to tell you." Andy's in love with you. You know, we hashed out the good, the bad. I believe she did more of that, and mine was just like, this is going to be really great or really bad. And isn't it great? And I can stand here today, right? But I have to give Andy credit, because whether that was your grand plan or not, it was perfect. It worked out, right?
Oh yeah.
A few months later, they were an item, and yeah, it was great. Great to see that all grow and evolve in the last 5-6 years. And as much as Katie's been a great friend, Andy, you've been a really good friend. And like I said, I'm family, so you gain a sister, whether you like it or not. I'm not going anywhere. But anyways, about Andy and Katie, they're just the best of friends. They truly exemplify that.
Looking good, Jill.
I just want to get this over. Right? They exemplify that being in love with your best friend is as good as it gets. So anyways, to wrap this up, this was not planned. Every practice did not go like this. Can't help it. You look at Katie and yeah, it's all over. Anyways, so I have to say, marriage looks good on you guys. It's only been a couple hours, but I feel you got this down already. So I won't give you any advice because, like I said, I think you got it. Got it in the bag. Cheers to Andy and Katie, and best wishes.
Want to do with our life, and it's constantly held up to this ideal of the Valley Road place being the greatest place on earth. So I submit to you that when I got married, there was 3 guys in my wedding party from this one subdivision. So it is not by accident, but it's by providence that in the late 80s, early 90s, someone built this subdivision, and the coolest people on earth moved there. And a lot of them are here today. So thank you, and I remember that. Mary, I want to thank you for hosting us here today. My first speech in life, I think, my dad left out one moment that we've had in this room. I think that's my first speech. Is you must have had a 60th birthday party or a 65th?
70th.
A 70th. I didn't think you were that old. So you had a 70th birthday party, and I don't know how old I was, but we were asked to give speeches. And I don't remember this, but I've seen the video. But there's a moment where my parents would have said, these are very old people, Steve. You need to speak up. So there's this video of me just shouting into a microphone, talking about how great my grandmother is, and then my siblings did the exact same thing. And then my grandma would get up and stand and wave like the queen after each one. It was this wonderful night. But the Brand Flex, Bob and Sarah, thank you so much for having us today. This has been an awesome day, and we really appreciate it. So thank you. My parents, Larry and Betsy, thank you so much for last night and everything for today. I actually written in here, Mom, applause to allow you to get up and promote the Fall Cabbie line. It looks like you're not going to do it, but my dad's also a successful salesman, right? My mom's a salesman, and so it's certainly no surprise that Andy has gone and become a successful salesman in the liquor business as well. And for those of you who don't know, for Emily, Andy, and I, our childhood was so much based off of that very ideal. We always heard this story about my grandfather, who worked for Oscar Mayer, and one year he made his pickle quota. And making the pickle quota was the biggest deal. So if you get an A, I don't really care. Did you make your pickle quota? That's the value. Any manners that we have today are derived from the fact that at the dinner table, our mother would lecture us about the pending doom of our future career if we didn't have good manners, right? So it's, Andrew, you're at the table. You're about to close the big sale. You're going to get the big promotion. You're going to get the big check. And then you put your fingers in your mouth. You just lost it. They fired you. And if you have dessert, you'll get diabetes. It was all just a threat on pending doom on if we didn't make the sale, right? If we used the wrong utensil, it was all over for us. To this very day, well, you know, there's stories of the Kennedys, and they would have talks about society and culture and communism in Cuba and how America should respond. We talked about Cuba at our house, too, but it was how we could market Cuban rum to the state of Wisconsin once the embargo was officially lifted. So, anybody that's in this industry, we have some ideas. The embargo is lifted. We've been working on it for decades. To this very day, if you come to our home, for those of you that haven't been there, it is like a flea market. Anytime you walk in the door, any casual party conversation that you would make at any home is a moment for a member of the Michaels family to sell you something. You walk in, it's like, thanks for having me. I'd like a drink. That's great. Larry and Andy have some fantastic brands for you to try. Oh, you like shopping? Good, because there's a boutique in our back room, and we have plenty for you to buy. Oh, you're interested in vegetables and gardening? That's great. I have 50 pounds of worm poop in my trunk. It's not a joke, I sell worm poop. And you can have as much as you like. Oh, you want some coffee after dinner? Great. Did you know coffee stains your teeth? My wife's a dentist. She'd be happy to welcome you. If you come over on the right weekend, on the right day, you will find my sister hula hooping in the front yard for money. She calls them tips. So I was going over the speech with my wife in the car on the way here yesterday, and she didn't laugh at any of my jokes. She didn't think any of it was sweet or sentimental. She wondered why I didn't talk about Katie more. Oh, I don't know, maybe just a compliment here or there. But her biggest complaint was my poor transition. So this is a transition, sweetie. I've written you in that sense. So what I really want to talk about tonight is there was a moment a couple weeks ago, and we have two sons. I'm sure you've heard them cry, but one is 21 months old, and then Calvin's over here, and he's only 2 months old. And so, as is usual at our house, like I told my wife, hey, leave tonight, go get a mani-pedi, I'll take care of my children. So I've got the 2 boys, right? It's just me and the 2 boys, and it's 7 o'clock at night, which is bedtime. And we are just, it is D-Day. And Calvin is crying his head off, and the kid needs to eat, for goodness sake, and Artie needs to go to bed, and I have to look at Artie, and I'm explaining to him, being the older son. I said, Artie, listen, tonight I can't read books with you. We can't take a bath. I can't do prayers. I just have to put you in your crib, and you're going to have to cry this out. Because I got to deal with your brother here. And he looks at me like, I don't get it. What have you done to me? And I saw that very moment in my eyes, right? I'm an older brother, I'm the oldest child. There's a graph that I wrote when I'm 10 years old that my mom found that it has a median line of happiness as a school project, right? You're supposed to write your high, your greatest events above the line, and it's scoring my first hockey goal and things like that. But below the line is the birth of my brother and sister. I was quite upset when they were born. For Annie's benefit, Annie's a little above Emily, so the thing is, I got what was in Artie's eyes then. He doesn't get it, and Annie shouldn't. So I wrote Artie a letter. I wrote Artie a letter about why having a little brother is actually the greatest thing that will ever happen to him in his life. So dear Artie, I'm going to read this. That's Cal. I know you don't understand. There's no way you could. Life was perfect. I know what you're thinking. Mom, Dad, and their firstborn son, what more do you need? Why not stop there? You could retire early. You could buy a boat, pick up a hobby, take me to Europe. Why have more children? But Artie, I cannot tell you how much better your life will be with little brother. Let me tell you about mine. It will all start one summer day when you are both old enough to play outside. Your brother will go where you go and do what you do. You will always have a built-in teammate, rival, competitor, and dreamer. You can pretend to be scoring the winning goal on your own, but it will be so much better when you can dream big with your brother. Summer days will turn into all day, every day. A new ball, a new sport, a new video game, but all day, every day. You get to play with your brother, and nothing in your life will ever be as much fun. You will get older and bigger, and I have to warn you that your brother may get bigger than you. This is not a good part of having a little brother. In fact, due to your relative lack of stature, you may be forced to develop a sense of humor. I hope you score a lot of goals, Artie, but I hope you get to watch your brother score more. Artie, the greatest man I know is your grandpa Larry, and I see every day your Uncle Andy becoming more and more like him. Artie, your mom and I pray that you find success in life. But if you want to experience a greater joy than your own success, then I pray that you get to watch your brother become a great man. Finally, and by far most importantly, someday your brother will meet the perfect girl. Katie, I don't know if you heard the collective sigh of relief in the pews today when you said I do, but that is a gasp of air that my family has been holding in for the better part of 7 years. You are beautiful and intelligent and kind, and despite all that, you've somehow chosen my brother. The moment that I knew you two were going to get married, we all knew Andy was in love with you from the beginning, and we were just holding our breath that he wouldn't screw it up. But you guys were coming home one weekend for a holiday or something like that, and you pulled into the driveway, and Andy is asleep in the passenger seat. in his car. And I'm just obsessed looking at this. Like, Andy, did you have this girl drive home from Minneapolis to our house in Delafield? Did she just drive you while you slept with your feet up? And he's still out, and I walk out angry. I'm like, Katie, what's going on here? And I'm like, did you just drive all the way here while Andy slept? And she goes, yeah, Andy doesn't like to drive. And walks past me as happy as can be, and I thought to myself, she really loves Andy. So, to finish my letter, Artie, someday I hope Calvin asks you to be his best man. Because being Andy's best man today has been one of the great honors of my life. Andy and Katie, we love you, and may God bless your marriage. Andy and Katie.
Thank you, Jill. Thank you, Steve. That was very good. I hate to follow both of those up, but I'll try. Thank you to Bob and Larry for saying something earlier. Thank you, Dad. Thank you, Dad. Thank you for everything, Sarah, Betsy. Thank you so much for everything you've done this weekend. Renee and Bailey, everyone here at Blackhawk, thank you very much. This place is beautiful, so thank you. I have a little list here. Thank you, Nana, for allowing us to be here. Appreciate it. I just want to clarify from Bob's story earlier. I chose to speak now so I could get the last word on purpose. So that night, we stayed up till maybe 2, 3, 4 in the morning. Terry Peck, the head coach, picked us up. I sat in the front seat, and my job was to stay awake and keep Terry awake and navigate for him. And so I was awake all night. And the first time I was able to relax was when I got in your car. And I remember this car ride like it was yesterday. We talked about North Carolina and the Tar Heels. And I know it was only about 15 minutes where I was awake. Again, I'd like to think that was 15 minutes instead of 5. But I literally, as we were in that car, all I was doing was trying to impress you. And I was probably trying to stay awake, but at some point I just couldn't do it. And then to follow up on Steve's last comment about Katie driving. I drive for work, and so the last thing I want to do is drive when I'm not working. Number 2, Katie gets mad because I drive the speed limit. And so it takes us an extra 30, 40 minutes to get from Minneapolis back to Delafield. So Katie sometimes prefers to drive. So I just wanted to clear that up. A couple other things. I want to thank all of you for being here tonight. Thank you so much for coming from far and wide. Thank you very much. Also, I already lost my wedding ring, so if you see it, please let me know. It's got to be. I didn't leave this room, so it's here. So. But it's insured. It's okay. It's okay, guys. We can all take a deep breath. No, we're gonna find it. Okay, we got it. We're good. We're good. Thank you. Best man right here. Best man. Best man. We're gonna put this on. Hold on. I keep playing with it. I don't wear jewelry ever. This is the first piece of jewelry I've ever worn in my life. So I've never taken it off again. So thank you everyone for being here. Please enjoy the rest of your meals. We're gonna have some cheese takeout in a little bit. Thank you.
I'll follow you into the park, through the jungle, through the dark. Girl, I've never loved one like you. In roads and boats and waterfalls, alleyways and payphone calls, I've been everywhere with you. We laugh until we think we die, barefoot on a summer night. Been sweeter than with you. And in the streets you run a free like it's only you and me. Gee, you're something to see. Oh, let me come home. Home is whenever I'm with you.
mine, oh, no.